So the founder of America Works writing an op-ed in the Wall Street Journal this week arguing that it's time to take decisive action to get able-bodied Americans off the couch. As of May of this year, 94.9 million Americans were not in the labor force. That includes those who may not want jobs, like students or retirees. 127.9 million people were either unemployed, part-time employed, or out of the labor force, and that number represents nearly 50% of working-age Americans. Charles Payne is the host of Making Money with Charles Payne on the Fox Business Network. Okay, if you dove deeper into this article, what you saw, the argument that the left always makes for when we see this low labor force participation that has been plaguing us. They say this is because of a demographic change in our country and that we have all these baby boomers retiring. This refutes this. It talks about young people, nearly 3/5 of non-working men receive disability. 41% of the non-disabled adults on Medicaid do not have a job. And it goes through the number of people who the labor force participation rate for men 25 to 54 working age is lower now than it was at the end of the Great Depression.
Yeah, and ironically, even though we have an older population, 55 plus, that participation rate has been climbing. I mean, go to a McDonald's or something, right, and you'll see, whoa, you know, someone that could perhaps be your grandparent or something. Here's the real story. We do have a crisis in this country, and we have a crisis where we are paying people not to work. It is just you make too much money and you are simply too comfortable and you do not have to go out there and work. And it's baffling all of the experts. At this very moment, there's 6 million job openings. People aren't even quitting jobs to go get those jobs. And we talk about skills gaps and those sort of things. All of that plays a role. But the fact is, two things I see. And the paying people not to work. Also, with younger men, there's a phenomena out there, and it's already happened in Japan. It began in Japan over 10 years ago. They call it the Gracia Movement, where these young men simply do not want to work and would rather stay at home and play video games. It sounds far-fetched, but it is absolutely not. A report out by the National Bureau of Economic Research just 2 days ago underscores this. It's absolutely amazing. I'll give you a key stat here. Recreational computer time is up 45% for this group. Overall leisure time is up only 4%. They don't go to work. They stay at home and play video games. Yeah.
So these are people, I want to emphasize, these are people that are of prime working age. They're 25 to 54. They are not disabled, and they are on Medicaid. They are not working. This was, so from Peter Cove, who wrote this article, thinks the solution is a better long-term solution would be to the work shortage, would be to eliminate all forms of public support except for those who are unable to work, and eliminate all poverty programs, since they have not reduced poverty since they were established in 1965. The argument against that would be, what about people who are trying to find work and can't find work? I mean, maybe they're just discouraged. Maybe they don't have the skills, and it's a skills problem, not a video game problem.
Well, I mean, that is the argument, but I think the greater argument here to the article's point is that this is something that's been going on a very, very long time. Remember, LBJ, he kicked off this program in Appalachia, walking around showing the working poor. Well, guess what? Go back to that very same spot, and it will look the same. I thought it was ironic when former President Obama said we should stop our Cuba policy because after 50 years, it didn't work. Apply the same logic here. Also, you talk about disabled. They're ruining the disabled program. You know how many people are getting a so-called crazy check? You go into the office and say, I just can't think straight. The world is too tough for me. And they're bankrupting the Social Security disability program. There's something drastic does have to be done. We're a compassionate nation, but it's also compassion to help people unlock the natural gifts that they were given at birth by God. That's also compassionate, too.
That's right. It's empowering.
Yeah.
Charles Payne, thank you for that.